round 3 of the AFL season. We're
Tipping,
back for our tipping segment.
tipping. Yes.
Get it away. Let's go.
Tipping.
That's it.
Tipping. Last week's results, I don't have them up here. I know Luke Gale was on top with 16 and the bottom and everyone else on second place. I think from 2nd to 10th, we're all on 14 tips. So we've got a clear
damn thing going.
Well, I think Gal finished on 8, one of my good friends. So I call him Gal. So shout out Gal.
There you go.
Finished on 16 as we speak. So he had a great. I think he tipped West Coast, and the only game he may have got wrong from memory was the Bulldogs game. I think so.
Yeah,
he did really well. He needs to take over this tipping segment, to be honest, because he'll do it himself.
Absolutely. But speaking of tipping, round 3 is upon us this Thursday night.
It's a blockbuster. It's a blockbuster.
There's a couple of blockbusters this weekend. And the first one of them, and I guess we'll get the tipping segment underway now, is the Geelong versus Adelaide game at the Adelaide Oval.
Yes.
Sorry, at GMHBA Stadium.
GMHBA.
GMHBA.
The question I've got is Geelong back? Did the Geelong we see last week against Freo, are they the real deal? Or are we
I don't know, to be honest. I mean,
Gold Coast? So which Gold Coast, which Geelong are we looking at?
I'll be honest with you. I feel like both this Adelaide team and Geelong team have been just as inconsistent as one another in this first couple of weeks of the season. The Geelong hasn't been convincing. Adelaide also hasn't been convincing. So I don't really know which way this game could go or will go. But if I was a betting man, and I'm not, but if I was, Geelong at home, you can never ride them off. So my tip for this week would be Geelong.
Oh, we're on the same page on this one, I think. Adelaide struggled. Adelaide struggled last week against the Dogs. They played well. They played out of their skin. But if this was at the Adelaide Oval, I would have tipped the Crows. It's in Geelong. Geelong have shown what they can do. They've shown they can play well there. They beat a fast. They beat a fast starting Freo last couple of weeks ago now. So Geelong in Geelong for me. Friday night we go to Marvel Stadium. It's very, very rare Collingwood end up at Marvel.
This is very interesting. Yeah, I don't know what's happening at the MCG. Is there a concert happening at the MCG or something?
No, I don't know. It might be because I don't think there's any games at the MCG on Saturday.
This week at all? Is there?
On Saturday, there's no games at the MCG.
Oh, the Melbourne Carlton game at the end of the round.
On Sunday, but
interesting.
This is Collingwood, I think, one of 2 games at Marvel Stadium this year, I think. I think they're going to play a couple of home games at Marvel.
Unfortunately, we have to travel sometimes. So, you can't play every game at the MCG, apparently. So, we have to travel across the road to Docklands, which is Marvel Stadium. So, that's part of our traveling. Anyways, Collingwood Giants. The Giants' injury list grew a little bigger on the weekend. Jack Buckley got injured as well. So, they have pretty much a non-existent defense now. Sam Taylor's injured. Jack Buckley's injured. Cadman's still injured. So their injury list is looking probably the worst out of everybody. So Collingwood's forward line hasn't been that great. So I don't even know if it makes a difference that GWS's defenders are injured. Let's be honest. Yes, I do talk shit about Collingwood sometimes. But if the way Giants played at Marvel 2 weeks ago was anything to go by, Collingwood are definitely winning this game. So my tip will be Collingwood for this game.
I disagree with you. I'm going to back the Giants here. I think at their best, they're very, very exciting to watch.
They have not been at their best for a minute.
No, but I'm not sold on Collingwood. We love you too, Hamros. So we love you too. Not sold on the Giants. I'm not sold on the Pies. They were okay against St Kilda. I think they struggled. Was it last couple of weeks ago now? So I'm against the Crows.
Can we be honest? Do you not, you're not convinced by the Pies, or are you just hating on them like usual?
I'm not convinced by the Pies. I'm not convinced by the Pies. I'm not convinced by the Giants either. But I think the Giants have far more weapons than the Pies. So the Giants.
Why did I believe that I'm not convinced by the Giants a bit more than the Collingwood part? Why do I sense a bit of?
I'm
playing.
this game on talent. I'm picking this game on talent, and I think the Giants.
Brother, we have the most talented player in the game. Be serious about life. Come on.
He's not going to get many touches.
Saturday afternoon.
Yes, we are back at Marvel Stadium, 12:35.
They're playing
St Kilda
20 games at Marvel this weekend.
Stadium. Yeah,
12:35 p.m. That's a very unusual time for a start.
They've got the second game. They've got the second game at Marvel Stadium at 7:30. So
they're playing 3 games in the space of 24 hours at Marvel. That's very interesting.
Yeah,
that's why I said, what the hell's happening at the MCG this weekend?
No idea. Maybe something to do with
Marvel Fair enough. St Kilda versus Brisbane. You know what? Yes. I'll be honest with you. I would never have thought I would see Brisbane being 16th placed after winning the premiership last year. That just was very unusual. I know they're not like horrible.
Blame the boys.
I'm saying like I'm not saying they're horrible, but just seeing that 16th is very interesting. But yeah, St Kilda versus Brisbane at Marvel. Loki, St Kilda play well in this game for some reason against Brisbane at Marvel. And every year, it either goes down to the wire or somehow St Kilda pulls off a win against Brisbane. So who do you think is getting over the line for this game?
I'm tipping the Lions. They're the premiership reigning premiers.
Yep.
They like Marvel Stadium too, the Lions. They don't lose many games at Marvel Stadium. Their record at Marvel is pretty good. They were ordinary against Sydney for the first 2 quarters, but they showed their wares. So this Lions team at Marvel, I think they'll get the job done against the Saints, who weren't convincing last week. They nearly lost the game in the last quarter. So
I'm
not sold on St Kilda. I know they're 2-1, but I'm not sold on them. Or they're 1-2. I'm not sold on them at all. So Brisbane for me, mate, brother-wise, would be very happy with that tip.
See, the thing for me is, I feel like we're getting a little too comfortable with Brisbane at the moment because last year they started the season 0-5 and they somehow won the premiership. And the year before that, they started the season 0-4 and they still won the premiership. Now, are we just going to make this a thing for Brisbane where they could finish 10th and still win the premiership because they're just Brisbane and that's what they do?
Absolutely.
They've fair enough. You're not wrong.
Who are you tipping? Hit us.
Basically, if you're Brisbane, you can do whatever the hell you want. You can win 5 games for the season. You'll still win the premiership. Fair enough. Brisbane. I have to logically go with Brisbane. Like you said, St Kilda haven't been convincing. I still think they're absolutely shit, St Kilda. Even though, like we said, a couple of yes, St Kilda are shit. Yes. Even though a couple of weeks ago we said that they pulled out the war chest and maxed out all the credit cards and all that shit, I still think they're rubbish. So Brisbane should get over the line. Well, the second afternoon game of Saturday, the Dockers versus Richmond at Optus Stadium. I'm not going to waste any time on this. I'm giving 0. Absolute donuts to Richmond for this game. I'm so sorry, Richmond. They're a good young team. They play well. They took it up to Gold Coast for the first 2.5 quarters on the weekend, last weekend. But against Freo Optus, I think even if you bring the best teams right now, they'll probably struggle at Optus. So Freo for this round, and Richmond, I'm giving you this many chances to beat Freo.
You summed it up. Fremantle, Richmond, no chance.
Absolutely.
Moving on to Saturday night.
Oh my God, this is. I thought the Essendon game.
This makes more sense. Essendon 18th. That looks.
Oh, yeah, you're definitely right about that. Essendon 18th. To be honest, if there was a position under 18th, that's where Essendon should be right now. 18th is giving them too much respect. But in saying that, this is also another game that makes me want to stick. How the hell are North Melbourne 6th? Interesting. Horrible game for a Saturday night. Essendon versus North Melbourne. I couldn't even tell you who I think.
I'd watch this game purely to see the outcome. And if Essendon lose, I'm going straight to Essendon fan cams.
You know what? If Essendon lose, maybe we should do another live stream just giving shit to Essendon.
I'm all for it.
But yeah, Essendon, North Melbourne. Surely North will bounce back from the shit show that they served up in Perth this weekend. Or last weekend, sorry.
No, I'm tipping North. I'm not tipping Essendon.
Yeah, that's what I said. North.
Yeah,
I'm tipping North too. Yeah,
North.
but
Essendon are in
all
the mud,
the cells
brother.
in my brain work, and all the screws in my brain are tightened. So I'm not tipping Essendon. Believe me, I can tell you that much.
No. I'm not tipping Essendon. I'm going all in on North. You want to tip it, and
Fantastic.
North are favourites as well. They're very much well favourites. So tipping
You're
North.
not wrong.
Yeah, not giving Essendon a chance.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
First
of the two games on Sunday, Port Adelaide versus West Coast, another dead rubber game. Bro, I'm sick of these. Why are these playing these rubbish games this early in the season?
Why are they playing because of the bye? That's why they're playing.
That's the problem. And you look at all the teams that you want to watch to play, the entertaining ones, Gold Coast, Doggies, Hawthorn, Sydney, they're all sitting at home. Speaking of, and I know we talked about this on this week's episode, the opening round bullshit. Do you know Hawthorn have 18 days off now because of the way this fixture is?
That. Doesn't make sense.
This is the exact problem I have with this opening round bullshit. Yeah, it's the fact that they have 18 days off 2 weeks into the season.
Bro. 3 weeks.
AFL, be serious about life, yeah? Get your shit together and fix this fixture.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to Port versus West Coast. Who do you have for this week?
Port Adelaide. Out of the Adelaide Oval. But West Coast play well at the Adelaide Oval. I've known this fact for years. I had an old work colleague that told me this, and I stand by it. The Eagles play well at the Adelaide Oval. So I'm tipping Port. I liked enough of what they've seen against Essendon. But if you're tipping West Coast, it's not a bad shout. So I turn up at Adelaide.
I don't know what the hell you saw against Essendon, because Port Adelaide it was training for them. That day they just had an extra training session that week. That's all it was against Essendon. So there was nothing to like or not to like, because shit, they probably have had more intense training sessions than that game. So yes, I agree with you. Port should get over the line very easily against West Coast. And hopefully, I think the West Coast are going to put up more of a fight than Essendon did last week, to be completely honest with you.
Absolutely.
And the last game of the round.
It is the last game of the round. 3:15 on a Sunday afternoon. Carlton, Melbourne at the MCG. Look, I have plans to go to this game. Whether I do go to this game is another question. But it is a good time. And look, funnily enough, we're not favourites. Didn't know that. But Carlton's record against Melbourne speaks for itself. We've beaten them we've beaten 4 of the last 5. I'm not tipping against Carlton yet. I think our second half fade outs are just demons, literally. Yep. So I think the Blues on Saturday afternoon will get the job done and officially kickstart it. You know what? I'm going to celebrate a win and enjoy a win, as opposed to last week where it felt like a loss. So Carlton for me will beat Melbourne, and I can't not wait.
My thoughts, to be completely honest with you, I'm gonna say this with all due respect, but I think it's 2 teams playing each other, which should make for a good game. Which should make for a good game if it's 2 shit players at the same level of shitness. And anyways, Carlton should win. I think if they want to hold. Well, if they want to hold any leverage to say they're a half decent team this year after the first 2 weeks that they've showed us, Melbourne, probably a same caliber team. They're not that good as well. They're still kind of figuring out what they're doing. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm very close to putting Carlton in the same boat as Essendon. Essendon, they're just a couple of steps ahead of a couple of. No. Don't get me wrong. Essendon are a couple of steps ahead of you guys in the shit show that they're in. But Carlton are not that far off as well, because Michael Voss, 4th year in, whatever it is in. Yeah, so you guys are just, like that employee that just does enough to not get fired. That's what you guys are doing right now. Or that's what Michael Voss is doing right now. So, yeah, Carlton should get over the line, is my opinion. I won't be shocked if you guys lose, but I think you guys would win against Melbourne. And that does it for round 3's tips, Nabil.
It does. It does. And that wraps us up for our first live stream as well, doesn't it?
It does. It sure does. It's been fun. We've had a lot of time on here. And yeah, I guess we'll just wrap it up there for this week.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe.
Tell them.
Like,
absolutely.
Share,
before we leave them,
we're also coming out to Adelaide for Gather Round. So
yes,
there'll be more of it on our socials. Keep an eye out, but we'll be heading down to Gather Round.
with that, and in saying that, take care, guys. We'll see you guys all next week. Ciao.